thought you retired.
No, not yet, no. No.
You got a few more years.
Yeah, hopefully I have a few
Hi, George.
more good years.
Good years.
Apologize for the late.
I had to change that one for the redevelopment portion was only 84 instead of the whole thing.
Hello?
Another point that I added on.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's the redevelopment portion I should have.
What's the, George,
What's this?
what's the symbol?
It's a Warsaw Tiger. But
Oh,
everybody thinks,
WT, okay, now I got it.
everybody thinks it's a, one of those Hurley or some real hemp shirt, and then it goes, oh, just athletic.
Real.
My arm kills.
I thought it
Man, that's really neat.
I go say, it looks like an umbrella.
Yeah, it does.
You ready?
Are you?
Yes, I'm ready. Well, I could go to the restaurant. You know,
No. We're gonna call this meeting to order. Everybody stand, as we are. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the previous meeting. Everyone should have received a copy of the minutes in their board pack. Are there any corrections, additions, deletions? Hearing none.
I wasn't here, so I couldn't say.
I move to be approved as submitted.
Second.
Mr. Snodgrass moves and, I'm sorry. Did I get there? Snodgrass. And Jeff Gross. Seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Okay, I will start then down through the approval of claims. Turn that over to Jeremy.
We have a few, not a whole lot. We've got two Troyer groups, one for $9,592.25 and the other for $2,795. Troyer is working on the Husky Parker traffic study, as well as the North Point project. The $9,592.25 is for the Husky Trail, and the $2,795 is for ongoing engineering for 300 North. Wessler, $1,995.04 is for the Airport Industrial Park, overseeing the construction on that project. And then Structure Point, the total bill is $15,879.86. Our portion is $8,469.40, and the rest will be paid for edit, and that is for Anchorage Road, our NDOT project.
Okay. One question on the Structure Point voucher. It says LPA number 3. What does LPA stand for?
Local public agency.
Local.
Yeah, NDOT calls us LPAs, local public agencies.
Thank you. Did not know that.
Well, now you do.
I learn something every time.
The structure point in the,
I added it,
Right.
I added by itself, it came the.
There's a separate page on it.
Well, yeah, we just got it today, and if you want to look at it, Rick.
The originals. This is what I did. I don't recall ever seeing that acronym before, but
Yeah, there's a voucher that goes with this, and the reason for that is it's an 80-20 project. So we pay out 100%, get reimbursed 80% for engineering, in theory, for engineering and right-of-way acquisition and project construction and construction engineering.
Okay,
But that all gets approved now. It used to be they would grant you the project and then you had all that. Now they do it by individual stages and you have to, so right now we have our match for construction and construction engineering and then the engineering that's going on now. When we get to the real property, we'll have to go to them and say, hey, same difference, here's the cost, 80-20 match. Presumably, they will approve that, but we won't know until we get to that stage.
okay. Okay, anything else we need to know about the vouchers?
No, unless you have any other questions.
Does anyone else have any questions for the,
Now, where will we get that copy,
Copy of,
the structure?
I think it was uploaded. Was it uploaded? It is uploaded in there.
it's now on,
It's on board pack, yeah. But we can make you a copy if you need one.
It's all right, I can go back on.
Okay.
Any other questions about the claims? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor of approving them as presented?
Make a
I'll
motion.
I'll entertain a motion to that effect.
I'll make a motion.
George
Approve
makes
the
a
claims.
motion to approve as presented. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Mr. Gross seconds. Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Claims are approved as presented. Very good. Okay, moving on. Resolution for Northern Residential TIF District.
Yeah, so the first resolution you have is for the Northern Residential TIF District. We've started this process about a month ago. We've held 4 public meetings, 2 at Eisenhower, 2 at Harrison, which was the first step. We completed an application and submitted that to the state for approval. And all of this is coming out of the state allowing for the creation of residential TIF districts, which is new. In the past, no, there has not been that, and the intent is to be able to help communities generate new housing. So we've targeted 2 areas, the northern and the southern. The north TIF, residential TIF district, there should be a map in here. It kind of, okay.
Yeah, we didn't, I noticed that was.
Well, we've been trying to put all this together in the last few hours.
Yeah.
So the northern area encompasses the Menards area plus the developable areas out by 225 East, I believe it is. There's about 102 acres out there with the intent to promote residential development. Yeah, this actually only has half the map. I'll have to update that. But so this includes the Menards area.
Just pass it.
Yeah, that's half of it. It's missing a section.
Oh, that's up here.
Yeah,
Top of the page, there's
It-
another
and it
section.
might be on
So
the
we're gonna
back here.
get copies of these?
Yes, they should be on the, we'll upload them to board pack.
Okay.
Pull it up, but, so the north, like I said, encompasses the Menards area down through Husky Trail. It goes out by 225 east, Shadow Lakes, Bella Augusta, takes in that area. Let's see if I can,
And you've held public meetings on this.
we've had 2 in each district. The requirements were that you have meetings. It didn't say how many. So meetings being plural, we had 2 meetings in each district. Here. Yeah, I don't know why it cut it off a little bit, but you can pass that down too. That's, oops, you can't because I messed it up. So it takes in about 102 acres along 225 East as well, as part of Bella Augusta. It's about 600 acres.
We will get the press.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see. Yeah, I think we did, they gerrymandered it and put,
Okay, that's all right. But the intent is to promote residential development, so there's, did you put those development plans in here? Oh, yeah, it's right here.
And I noticed in the write-up that the
yeah, you can show Mike, look at that utility.
school board
That's what I think
approved
Yes.
those plans as well. Both
Yes.
of them?
So this is the first step. So this is a designating resolution, then we'll have the declaratory resolution come at before us. That's all right.
That is undeveloped, like Joe said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, did you hear that?
I didn't, I was trying to explain it, sorry. Sorry.
We appreciate your efforts. First of all, the school board will have to approve this program. How about the city council?
Yes. So this is the first step in this process. So we're introducing the designating resolution. It will go before the Plan Commission, the City Council, and the School Board, and then back before you at the, yeah, it's not that nice.
Okay.
It's about version 1.0 now. And it'll come back before you in December. In order for us to qualify based on the rules that were set out by the state, we have to have this done before the end of the year. The rules allow for us to create residential districts as long as we are building less than 1% new homes of our total homes per year, which over the last 3 years we meet those requirements. Right now we're at roughly 4,200 residential units within Warsaw, and we're averaging about 31 new houses a year. So we're under that, but if we take into count this year's, we probably will not meet those requirements next year. So we have a very short window to take advantage of the residential TIF districts. So the northern TIF district looks at that Menards area as well as the area out by 225 East, which a lot of this is what we annexed in the prior year. We annexed in about 102 acres out there for residential development last year. Some of the projects you can see, estimated project cost and for the economic development plan that's being presented. We've got 3 different projects kind of outlined, and this is not all inclusive, but this is just kind of an upfront look at what projects might be out there. We have construction of sanitary sewer line along 225 East, and we have, I don't know why that copied that 3 times, I just now noticed that. But the projects would be a sanitary sewer line along 225 East, sanitary sewer throughout the Menard subdivision, or potential sanitary sewer from out the Menard subdivision. Also include potential improvements to Husky Trail, and intersection improvements along Parker Street to facilitate traffic flow and efficiencies. So those are just potential projects within that area, but then obviously as we would develop that area, other projects could be brought on board.
Okay. I guess the question I had, I perhaps missed it in the reading, but is the incremental financing involved here?
Yes, same principle as tax increment finance districts. So same as our other TIF districts. The only difference is we're only capturing residential development.
So it's new construction?
New construction. So the base AV would be 2019. That would start the base AV. And then moving from there, every time a new house is built, we would collect that increment to go towards reinvestment in those districts, specific to those districts and specifically for residential development.
So even if the AV increased for existing houses, it's, we would, if that happened, we would capture that as well.
Not necessarily. There's actually a complicated,
Of course.
there's a complicated equation on how they factor that in. So, yeah, say if I have a house and it increases $100, we don't necessarily collect that $100. That goes into the
Okay.
factor. We collect what is new.
We want to
So,
make that clear.
so if someone has 1,000 square foot house and they add 200 more square feet to it, then we would collect what they added to it. But if their AV just went up, it doesn't necessarily mean we collect an increment.
So we're looking at new construction and maybe additional add-ons.
Yes. Yeah, if someone were to
Existing.
add value to their existing house, then yes, we would collect that.
Okay.
Anything that's new gets collected, but just a
Not
fluctuation, yeah, just a fluctuation in what your assessed value, there's a factoring that they do that goes into that, because the land value can go up,
Yes.
but that doesn't necessarily mean you
That was my
you
question.
directly
Thank you.
collect that,
Thank you.
yeah.
But just because they're in the TIF, and they add 200 square feet, they wouldn't be taxed any different than.
No, that's the other thing,
The TIF,
yeah.
and added 200 square feet.
Yeah, a TIF district has nothing to do with taxes,
Right.
other than where it goes, right? Where the dollars go, that's it. So if you lived in a TIF district, you would pay, and you had 1,000 square foot house, and it was assessed at blank amount of dollars. If you didn't live in a TIF district and had 1,000 square foot house that was assessed at blank, you would pay the same amount of money. It has nothing to do with whether or not you're in a TIF district or not.
I just wanted to make.
Yeah,
that clear.
no,
So that related to
point.
the school system too, I was looking at item 13 and then 14. The taxes will still go to the school system for current residential, Jeremy, but
Yes.
the new comes in, and then we collect more taxes. That will stay within this district, and the guidelines are sections 39 and 56, like on how you can spend that money, appropriate the dollars.
that's correct.
Okay, that's what I
Yep.
thought. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so it's pretty much the same principle. The idea is you're making investments to generate new housing instead of, in the past, we've done industrial or commercial developments. Same principle. Our goal with both of these districts were to directly affect the school districts by putting students in the school. Now, I know Harrison is a very active school district. The downside is we still want to promote residential growth. So although Harrison's very active, and we know that, we also know that this area has available land for develop, and we're only building 30-some houses a year, and we need to be building 60, 70 houses a year to meet the demand. So we had to target this, even though, same with the South, we are wanting to specifically target Eisenhower because that is one of the schools that we have room for students, and we're not getting the growth to fill that school. And I shouldn't say that because I don't, but in theory, right? The school, no, and Jeff, you may know more about that than I do, but I talked to Dave a little bit about target areas. Unfortunately, the North may not target exactly what they want, but it's also going to create more students, which will inadvertently filter down to the middle school and high school eventually, in theory, which they do need more students
Yes,
for
we do.
in the high school.
Funding, remember, is based on student population.
But Eisenhower specifically, that's why we targeted the South.
Yeah.
That's why we worked to annex some property in last year to try to promote residential development down there, because we know we have the capacity in Eisenhower, or there is some capacity in Eisenhower, and we want to help the school fill that capacity.
So trying to visualize this, the sections 39 and 56, it could be new development comes in, you're building up a large amount of money, you hope, and it could be this housing addition will put sidewalks in, or this.
So
will
it could
assist
be,
with-
it could be infrastructure improvements, it could be land acquisition, it could be lease agreements. So there's a lot of different tools that this gives us, and the tools are somewhat comparable to what we have with our existing TIF districts. They're a little bit less. We have a little bit more wiggle room in your commercial industrial than what they gave us with the residential. But we are hoping maybe as this program grows, they will loosen up and give us a little bit. But so the tools are fairly simple. The other thing we get with this is you do get the ability to issue one bond in each district. So you cannot issue more than one bond, but you can issue one bond in each district. So if a developer came and said, I'm going to build 100 homes in 5 years, and I need blank to do that, that gives us the latitude. So there could be public-private partnerships to create those homes, but it could come, what we do with it could come in a variety. It could be purely infrastructure related, could be land acquisition, could be, and I did include in the plan itself, there is a land acquisition, and what I did was put in there properties we could potentially acquire. That doesn't mean we're going to acquire them, doesn't mean we're going to acquire all of them. Those are just properties we could potentially acquire to promote residential development. So that acquisition list is also in there.
We're promoting residential development. If you do decide to develop in this district, there will be public incentives, dollars
Yeah.
potentially to
Yeah.
help, and you're looking toward the school system too.
Yes.
Housing for families
Yeah.
near 2 of our larger schools.
Yes.
Good.
So we're really addressing a couple of problems.
Yes,
there.
I think
The
so.
housing shortage as well as additional headcount for students
Yeah.
if we bring in families into those new developments, new houses.
Great points. That's the idea for the
Yes.
public to know. Okay.
Right. It's very similar to the commercial TIF districts, only more
Residential here.
residential and probably a little more targeted.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, obviously, primarily, the big one for us was the South District, what I've called the South Residential Economic Development Area, because we have had issues promoting residential development down there, even though there's land down there to develop. I know in talking to the school district, we talked a little bit about Madison, and while we would have loved to have targeted Madison, we have no land out there whatsoever. Nothing's annexed in, there's no land to build on, so we just didn't have any ability to do anything out there. We've talked to them about annex. Madison itself's not actually in the city limits, so we need to annex Madison in, we need to annex adjacent properties in, before we would be able to do anything. Unfortunately, by the time we do that, we're probably not going to qualify. In theory, I don't know, that could change. Like I said, we've had more houses built this year than we have had the previous 2 years. And because it's based on a rolling 3-year time period, right now we're in 16, 17, and 18. And our average in 16, 17, and 18 is 31 houses a year, which is well under the 42, with the 1% average. If we factor in 17, 18, 19, then you move over that average. But then again, in 2020, that it could drop back down, which could move us back below. I mean, but as of right now, these are the 2 areas where we have the ability to promote development. So those are the areas we're going to try to target.
The 1% residential limitation, is that per TIF district or combined residential TIF districts in the city?
Within the city. Yeah, so it's based on all the single-family homes within the city and any new construction on single-family homes occurring in the city.
Okay. Any more questions?
That's good.
Very good. That's a good explanation. Could you pass the map down, please? It's part of our original document.
Well, we'll have to update that, make sure it's right.
Yeah.
You said you'd send us copies of it.
We're gonna have maps, we'll update that, and
We'll have to have a more
and I'll
extensive
fix-
map on that too.
I'll fix why it copied the same project on all 3 lines instead of,
Jeremy, that number 42, is that based on population or?
It's based on the number of single-family homes currently within the city limits. So it takes all of your single-family homes, and then it's 1% of that.
Oh,
So this TIF, these two TIFs will only relate to single-family residents, not multifamily.
It doesn't prohibit you from developing different types of housing. However, the numbers are based on single-family. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it doesn't say we couldn't promote apartment buildings, but primarily, we would be targeting housing for families. Now, we need apartments too. And all of this is going to come out of the housing study we're currently partnered with the county and the community foundation with. We're in the process of completing that housing study and strategy. That will provide us some direction on how to go about or what to incentivize, what to try to create, where our gaps are, what are we trying to, what do we need, what are we trying to create. So I don't want to say that we don't need apartments, because I know we do. Matter of fact, one of the people that came to the public hearings was an apartment developer who owned an apartment building, and he was more interested in multifamily. But he said they have basically zero vacancy, and he gets about 20 phone calls a day looking for apartments. So the reality is, I don't think that study's going to come back and say, oh, we need this type of housing. I think it's going to come back and say, what kind of housing can you build, because you need it all.
Right.
Now, primarily, we want to focus on workforce housing. So even though it may come back and say you need it all, we will still continue to try to develop all those gaps, but maybe what we would be focusing on here is workforce housing. And these districts will probably primarily be focused on single family, maybe with some mixed use residential, where you go a little bit higher density, but maybe not complete to building apartment buildings. Apartment buildings, you want connectivity, you want walkability, so we're going to be targeting areas where there's probably more connectivity. You tend to see those around places like along Husky Trail. There's two apartment buildings. Why? Because they can walk, you got connectivity, you got a hospital, you got the YMCA, you have school, they can walk to the school, you got a grocery store. So that, when you're dealing with that type of density, we want to, kind of focus that in on areas where we have that walkability, that connectivity. Our senior housing project on Market Street is a prime example. It's within walking distance to downtown. You got the park there. So apartments, probably more focused on connectivity, but certainly we'll be looking at workforce housing in a variety of densities in those areas.
Any further questions regarding this?
You want to do this one at a time, or?
Yeah, we'll do them one at a time. I mean, the spiel will be the same for South, but a little bit different.
I make a motion to approve the resolution concerning the Northern Residential Economic Development Area.
2019-1101.
Whatever, I don't have
Yeah,
numbers.
yeah.
It'd kind of be nice to have all this stuff
It would be, wouldn't it?
before.
I agree. I would have.
He's pushing the envelope.
I am beyond pushing the
You
envelope.
are, I know it. It's good. Good faith effort.
All right.
Get it done before
I'll
the
change,
end
I'll
of the
change
year.
that. I move for approval of resolution 219-11-01.
Thank you.
As presented?
Thank you. Here's the next one. You know what number it is.
All right. Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Mr. Clemens seconds. So we have a motion to approve resolution 2019-11-01. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right. Thank you very much, and we'll move on to the next resolution. Resolution number 2019-11-02. This is for the residential TIF district in South.
Yeah, and I realized the map did not print on there as well, so you got half of it. I'm guessing it just didn't do the fit to page. Same premise, only obviously we're targeting the southern part of the city of Warsaw where we have land that we worked hard to annex in the previous year to create development options, to create opportunities for residential. All of this is still coming out of that housing study we're in the process of completing. We'll have an idea of what we're trying to target, but primarily workforce housing is our target market.
So other than location,
Nothing changes, the same.
same.
You still have the one bond issue you can issue per district, so this district would have the same. You have a development plan. Primarily, we're still targeting single-family houses. You have projects listed within your economic development plan. You have acquisition list. Once again, it doesn't mean that we're going to go out and acquire all those properties. It just gives us the ability to acquire those properties if warranted for some kind of economic development incentive. And this is a better view of the map. It's a little bit larger area, and we're targeting those areas that have development opportunities. So it's a little bit broader because you have a number of parcels throughout that southern district that have the ability to be developed. Did it shut off? Shutting like a... So it runs from, to give you an idea, it runs from 200 South, north up to the high school. Shady Crest is the west boundary, and Winona Lake is the east boundary. So it's primarily that area in between.
What's the north boundary?
The high school. It does not take in Edgewood Middle School, but it doesn't have to, but the high school was the northern boundary.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay, and same rules, same approval levels?
Yep.
All
So
apply to this?
it'll start with us. This was the first resolution. It will go to Plan Commission next Monday, right? Tuesday. I keep saying
Yes,
that,
it is
yeah.
a Tuesday.
Tuesday, because of the
Right.
holiday. Then it will go to City Council and School Board, and then back to the Redevelopment Commission in December. The School Board, we're still working on a meeting date for that.
Plan Commission is a week from Tuesday? A week from tomorrow?
Yes.
Yes. You have, like I said, you have a project list that focus on infrastructure improvements, and then you have the acquisition list. Those are all the property that's in the acquisition list would be properties that are buildable, developable. 20-year term, I didn't mention that the first time, but it's a 20-year term, so the district expires after 20 years.
Which is a state requirement?
Yes, that's all part of the state statute. So it wouldn't go any further than 20 years.
Jeremy, I'd make a motion, but I don't know what the number is. There's nothing on here.
Oh, we just,
This is
can make one up.
2019-1102. So it's
What was
11
it again,
It's
sir?
1102, so 2019-1102.
Okay, 2019-1102, I make a motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Mr. Jeff seconds that motion, so any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the
Jeremy,
vote.
here's a stranger comment, but, you know, I did abstain from the one out east. I don't have to abstain on this because I own property in this area, do I? Don't have our city attorney here.
Not unless you're gonna build a house on
As
your
it-
property.
Yeah. What's that? Well, technically, I guess it could be. We don't know.
I don't think you have to. I don't think that you necessarily had to abstain the last time, but that's Scott's. If
Yeah.
you feel like you need to, then that's
You
certain.
know what, just, I think I will abstain.
Just to be on the safe side.
Be on the
it's
safe
probably
side. I
smart.
did the last time.
Yeah.
You're in favor of the idea of
I'm
that?
in favor,
because
totally in favor of the
Right.
idea. And I don't think anything will happen. We bought up that property at Cub Drive
Yeah.
in Chandler like that. Just in case, I suppose, the
That's a good
appearance
idea.
of.
Yeah.
I'll
Okay.
abstain.
Very good.
Thanks,
We have a motion and a second. I'm now going to call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
And I will abstain.
We have one recognized abstention. Mr. Clemens.
Probably not necessary, but.
And we will get
Can't hurt.
copies of the whole.
Yeah.
Yes, you'll get copies of the whole thing.
I
And
live
good.
in that district, I don't have any developable
I
property.
can actually send you copies of the maps right
I
now.
just own my own, my house.
Yeah.
Okay. So motion is approved. All right. Moving right along. Buffalo Street subdivision. Is this an update? Or what is this? Oh, the memo.
That's all right.
Okay.
Really?
Says we have to replot.
Oh, did it traveled along? All right. So this was presented to the Board of Works on Friday. We just need your permission to replat part of the mixed-use development portion of Buffalo Street so that we can move forward with the mixed-use project. You have basically before you a 4-lot subdivision, Lot 1 being the primary mixed-use building site, Lot 2 being Canal Street, Lot 3 is the existing maintenance building for the Parks Department, and then Lot 4 is a cutoff of the existing, what was left over from the additional lot that we bought to the south. Just squares that line up across there.
Jeremy, protocol, why'd the Board of Works look at that first? Why did we look at that Friday and then now here? I forget the steps.
It, from my understanding, because the Board of Works owns, or the City of Warsaw owns portions of the property, and the Redevelopment Commission owns portions of the property, so they need both
doesn't
approval. It
matter.
doesn't matter the
Okay, I
sequencing
didn't
of
know
it,
the
yeah.
order, it just, okay.
That's a good question.
Just happened
We did.
the way we met.
Yes,
Dates
it just
we met.
happened to be the time frame. And then it'll be go before the Plan Commission on Tuesday.
I ask, because usually, again, I can never remember, it's always.
Most of the time it is
then go to
sequential.
Council, and I just,
But this was more of each entity owns property,
Okay.
and even though the redevelopment commission's an entity of the city, it's still.
thank
just
you.
For clerical reasons to have your approval. So all you're doing is just approving the process to allow the subdivision or replat.
And by replatting, what does that do, Jeremy?
Well, the primary reason is if you look at, that's why I included both of these, so this is what the plat will look like, and then if you look at the other sheet, you'll see what exists out there now. So you got all these lots that are going out, jutting out into the road, some alleys,
This cleans it up.
yes.
Okay. And we need to vote on this to
Ah, I get
move it
it.
along.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay.
Just approving the replating of those properties.
Okay, any further questions?
No.
just erases it, makes it an open
Thanks.
for a developer.
Okay.
I make a
I
motion.
get it now.
Approve.
Mr. Snodgrass makes a motion to approve as presented to replat.
Second, I'll second
Mr.
that.
Gross seconds that motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. It is replatted.
All right.
All right.
So that'll go before the next plan commission meeting, and start that legal process.
Okay. Is there any other business to come before this group? Is there an update on the filling station at the entrance of Central Park?
Other than I'm supposed to be getting quotes for demolition that I haven't had time to do.
Okay, so it's pending,
It's pending, yeah.
pending quotes for demolition. All
Yeah,
right.
that last
That's fine.
conversation,
That's
we were
fine.
supposed to be, I need to work on getting quotes for the demolition.
Been a little busy lately with all
A
this.
little bit.
Next few days gonna be just about as bad.
Yeah, they are.
I'd make a motion for adjournment.
And hold on just for a minute. I would like to extend,
I
This
wouldn't do
commission-
that.
pardon?
I don't know if that's public information yet.
Oh, isn't it?
No.
I'm sorry.
No, I don't think
I
it
will.
is.
Second.
If you know what you're gonna
I'm
say.
sorry.
I thought about that, but I probably shouldn't.
Never mind.
Well,
Never mind.
You're selling, it's about the times union selling.
George? George. Mr. Clemens, you're out of order.
I second the motion to adjourn.
We have a motion, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
There we go.
Thank you very much.
Now, what was your question?
Jeremy, thanks for all your hard work on this TIF stuff.
Great job.
Complicated, needed,
Just trying.
Well,
very nice.